Another one. Another one.
Hello guys, can everyone hear me? Doing the sound check. Great, thank you.
Oh my god, another one.
Oh my god, another one. Badger Blade with the Prime. Thank you. And Storkin, thank you for the subscription. How are we all doing?
Oh
this week.
Another one.
Another one. So we got a few things today I wanna go through. Admiral Roland, thank you for the subscription. So we deployed a quite important patch this week. Finally, got some bug fixing done, some quality, and some additional improvement on our server side. And we are working on a follow-up patch as well with a few additional fixes in a few different areas. So we gathered quite a bit of the feedback. I'm gonna try to deliver a new patch as soon as we can. We don't have an exact date or so, but we have a quite clear note that we need to cover. One moment. Okay. So in today's stream, I have something small to show, some upcoming stuff. I also want to give out 2 Mortal Online 2 copies for those that want to try to get a additional account or a new account. And I also have a few points on our upcoming roadmap that I would like to. We're interested in hearing your input. What areas that you may be interested in. So you can pretty much vote on 3 of the upcoming points we have on the roadmap, just to see, overall popularity, what you think, and what you would like to see in the upcoming roadmap. It's always interesting for us to see if our predictions are, close or true to what you guys vote on as well. We obviously have quite a few things that we know we're gonna cover on the roadmap, but we also want to give you some headroom to kind of show your interest as well, to confirm some things. Gonna fix guild chest not being able to go in strongholds. Yes, so one of the things on our upcoming roadmap is, or not even on the main roadmap, is actually an upcoming patch that we know that we obviously want them as soon as possible. That is some of the house options, house tools, stronghold, to make sure that players, friends, and groups and guilds can use houses together in a more efficient way with different types of access. So if you have a stronghold or a house, you will be able to co-own that house, which means you can pretty much access everything as the owner. And we're also looking to add some kind of friendship to this house, which will work in a little bit different way. And also so many things are always tied to performance on a server. So we need to always cover that in the code core before we have, see what kind of room we have with the different options. But we know we have obviously gathered a lot of feedback on what players will love to see on houses, strongholds, what kind of tools and functions that you may want to have. So we have a good list of importance there, where you can pretty much give different types of access to your house chests, and obviously also, like I said, co-ownership and such. Please remove AFK timers for fishers. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously we need to make sure that you can continue fish unhindered without having to be too distracted by the AFK timer. So yeah, we're collecting a lot of those very good, solid feedback and going through them.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
Hold honor. Thank you for the subscription. The Dryer, thank you for the subscription. Nerf Legion dogs. Yes. So, as you know, there's like almost an endless amount of requests on different types of TC functions that, you know, both that we knew we had in the first game that is highly desired, and also, you know, based on our current game from all type of players. So we're gonna also start on a solid batch when it comes to starting TC assets. So we don't wanna hold the entire TC for a very long time before we release it. We will have clever batches of content to deploy, because as we mentioned, there's, where do we draw the line for TC? There's every now and then you guys come up with very good solid feedback or suggestions that fits, which means we will add that to the list to come. But we know, you know, a lot of the very useful things like banks, stables, guard possibilities and such is obviously what is TC? So TC is what we call the territory control functions. So right now we have like the key for starting TC is keeps and any building in the game. That is the key for giving the players the next step, which is, you know, starting TC. And that is when you will be able to construct additional types of constructions, buildings, and services, and hire NPCs. For instance, a stable, a bank, guard posts, shops, etc. Henrik, Mod2 devs, I just wanted to thank you for the GeForce Now support, as it allows me to play high quality on a cheap laptop. Much appreciated. The Alex Liang, thank you. Yeah, it's awesome. We were, you know, it's really cool how good GeForce Now works. We were a little bit hesitant initially when we got approached by NVIDIA with that function. You know, we heard some pros and cons when they have launched similar systems in the past. But yeah, it looks like it's working very well today. So it's quite impressive. So it's awesome to see that anyone with a very low-end computer can play on high with really good performance using GeForce Now services. So yeah, that's cool. Greetings from Canada. Eka, Canada. Canada. Brack, welcome. What is the plan to get the personal chest and workbenches back? Yeah, so we had quite the meetings today going through. So the good news is that we have fixed, finally, there was a quite severe bug in the furniture system. We have fixed it in the latest server patch, and you know, that was the number one step. Then obviously we know that since people placed furniture, benches, etc. in houses, strongholds, and keeps, they have been tied to this bug when some nodes have been restarting and taking over, and that have caused furniture loss, which is of course very unfortunate. And we have gone through this. So what we're going to do is we're going to announce the procedure for that. So we're going to work with the GMs to pretty much replace lost decoration and furniture, benches, workbenches in houses, strongholds, and keeps. So we're gonna go through that, make the protocol for how we will handle it, and we will go through all those houses that have been affected. So we will obviously need to spend a few days to handle this, and then finally, hopefully, that will be the end of it. Deleted decorations.
Oh my god, another one.
Tex X, thank you for the gifts. Poor Paladin with the subscription. Thank you so much. Another one. Let me see. All right. Okay, so I don't intend to show the entire roadmap because that's not finished. But what I intend to give you guys is pretty much a poll that I'm gonna let run for quite a while. We can discuss the things in details, and if you have questions about them, we can go through that. And you will be able to cast 3 votes, and that express your interest on what you would like to see in the nearest updates when it comes to the roadmap. So we have 9 points that I'm gonna show you guys on the poll, and as I mentioned, you're gonna be able to vote for 3 of them that you would like to see most. So that is a good indication for us to make sure we are still have the prediction and feedback on points, and it's good for us to see that we are on points, and also if some of these additional change hierarchy also. So we have been investing heavily in expanding the development. Every single funding we're getting goes back to the development. We want to make sure we expand, secure our development, make it as stable as possible, and can offer a long-term, exciting roadmap that is never-ending. And we're gonna keep on expanding and building the best possible sandbox on the market. That is our vision, and that is what we have started doing. We're past the most chaotic steps. Hopefully, things will be moving a lot smoother from here on forward. It's been obviously quite a strain on both me and the team to get everything on track as fast as possible. And obviously, we know how this have also affected many of you guys playing the game. And we're doing everything we can to prioritize to make sure that is as smooth as possible and recover any of the issues that have happened. All right, so let's see. I could show you guys the or what do you say, guys? I also have 2 Mortal game copies I wanted to give out. Shall we do one of those give outs now, and then I can bring up the roadmap points that you can push your votes for? What do you say? Let's do it. Okay. Where do I have my little vote thing? Or I mean, yeah. 1 second. All right. So I'm gonna bring up the.
Oh my god, another one.
Oh my god, another one. Lord, thank you for your subscription. All right, so to participate in getting a chance for getting the Immortal 9 2 copy, you simply write !MO2 to participate. I'm gonna start that now, guys. So if you wanna have the chance for winning it, write exactly. Exclamation mark MO2. And I'm gonna roll it in a moment. All right. Getting a lot of people in, so about 280, 300 people participating. So yeah, I'm gonna give you a moment to join in. While we give that a moment, I'm gonna prepare the next window here so you can see what I'm talking about when it comes to the poll for what we want your input in when it comes to roadmap. So obviously, you know, we've been so hungry, just as hungry as you guys when it comes to getting back on track, moving forward to our next stage. Obviously, frustrating for all of us to kind of stand still, just working on the back end. Not very exciting for player point of view, standing still due to, you know, that. But I can assure you that on the back end and the progress we've been doing in these patches have been very important. So we know that how important it is to have a stable core foundation before we can proceed building on top of that so it doesn't fall down, you know. So unfortunately we had to spend quite a time to get these pieces in place. You know the drill. We have gone through it a little bit in the previous streams. But we're really looking forward to see that list is becoming very short now, and we're getting closer to share some real candy and the upcoming roadmap. And that's obviously what we've been waiting for when it comes to the next step, right? So we're getting close. All right, so we got 620 people still going quite strong. Let's give it a little bit more, so everyone got a shot. So plan to add a second character slot. Right now we don't have a plan to add a secondary character slot. So it's been a common question, and we fully understand why, right? It's not easy to pick the path, pick what clade, what kind of style you want to build on. And obviously you can't go deep on everything. You need to kind of pick a build, something hybrid, something, you know, like that, or go a little bit stronger, deeper, especially when it comes to action skills. Becoming the best possible mage, for instance, with the best possible melee fighter is obviously very difficult, right? So that is also obviously making it difficult to pick and go for something. So we fully understand that, you know, we would like to have a few more options with additional slots to try something totally different from your main style possible. At the same time, we need to be very careful here because as many of you know, there's a high value and a lot of hard work put into rebuilding the clade systems, rebuilding and splitting the skill systems, and we want a growing player-driven economy and world where players simply don't cover everything on their own by design. That, you know, you can pick a few things, do them very well, or pick a few more things to do them a little bit less well. And the next part is obviously trading with player friends or strangers, and also, you know, using the broker tools we have to promote effective player trades. So and another very important part is the reputation. One character, one name. Everyone knows who you are eventually. Are you that famous crafter, trader, honorable player, or are you that backstabbing thief or whatever? That builds very much stronger into your character. And you know, it's one world. If you wreck your reputation, you may be having a rough time in different areas of the world over time. So it's that whole thing that we want to respect and be very careful about when it comes to simply adding additional character slots. But with that said, we had a feature that we talked about initially, that we call a diva system, that it kind of like your sibling that also share some of the consequences and status, so you can't just play on both sides pretty much, simply put. CDAC, thank you for the subscription. So no, translation is not that we prefer you to buy another account. It all depends on what type of player you are and what your interest is. Sure, we understand that many will get multiple accounts, even more than 2. But commonly, if you look at the common step, which is the baseline we're trying to make a game for, sandbox MMO interested player, we try to design a game as good as possible for that mindset. So, but with that said, we know and fully understand that some people may go for additional account because they simply want to do different things how they want to. But when we design things, we look at the core and how that works, when the more common thing is a player actually have one account. All right, let's see. We got 730 people sign up so far, and it's slowing down quite a bit. So maybe we should run it. Let's see. We have I still have these very strange names, but maybe we could figure out who that is. I think we did last time. Okay, a few more is pouring in right now. Let's give it a little bit more. Let's see. We get portable crushers for houses. We are looking to add the portable machineries again, yes. Kentard Keep needs a lot of work. There are a lot of problems with the walls, the floor. Please, can the team look at this? So I'm not aware of exactly what's wrong there, but for sure, if the keep, we only have 16 keeps and they are set in stone, so that means we can make sure they should be perfect. So if it's not already reported, please do report that to one of our GMs, and they will bring that information to our devs so we can fix it as soon as we can, hopefully in our upcoming patch then. So please report that to our GM so we get the information if it's not already covered. And then plans making shield knock bags in town and criminal action. Yes, so as I mentioned, we have a prioritized order list internally that covers quite a few things, and shield bashing people, over distances, for instance, immediately down to water, drowning someone, taking their stuff. That is not the intention by pushing a player. So we have pushing a player for some obvious few reasons. It's quite valuable when you're stuck somewhere or need to push someone. If you need to move along, you need to push someone. Or in some cases, in combat, when you're in thin areas, you can shield push someone down, and it can be very effective. That is the intended design behind it, right? And then, of course, people are using that function to push people away and use it for other not intended purposes. So yes, we intend to add there's going to be a check that if you push multiple times like that, you will be becoming criminal, and guards will interact. Because it's not only, I'm not just talking about AFK. When I've been in middle multiple times to do different events or anything, or access broke or anything like that, people have been pushing me just to make fun of things, right? And that is obviously when I can't use the broke or or a specific service in the game in the cities where I should be protected and guarded, and it just ruined by someone having a laugh, pushing me around. That is not good, obviously. So that's why we need to have this check in place, so we kind of prevent that extreme abuse of pushing. All right, let's pull the. We got 800. Let's pull the MO. The giveaway. So let me run it, guys. We have 800 people in it. I'm gonna run the thing now. Good luck, guys. Here we go. You have one more shot after this one in a moment, guys. So this is the first key. The winner of this key will be let's see. Boom. Rogue's Cunning. Congratulations. You won an ammo 2 copy. All right. Rogue's Cunning. You can, if you don't mind, can you send me a little DM here on Twitch? I can send that key straight away. Rogue's Cunning. If you're in here, feel free to send me a DM. Rogue's Cunning, are you here, my friend? He's in here. I'm trying to find him. All right, great. Gonna pass that key over. One moment, guys. There we go. All right, guys. The okay. All right. Let me, guys, show you the I don't. You drink whiskey or prefer beer? I'm actually not super fond of either whiskey or beer. I actually prefer drinks, specific drinks, I would say. But beer works, whiskey, not that much. I would actually prefer gin and tonic or something like that over whiskey. Wine, the problem is, as you may know by now, I have suffered from a lot of headache and migraines throughout whole my life, pretty much. I'm actually on a new pill, meds for this type of migraine that actually have been doing wonders. I haven't had migraine for quite a long time, which, you know, I pretty much gave up. That okay, I'm gonna have to live with migraine forever. Finally found someone that could help me. So this is my first month, almost 2 months, being almost totally migraine free, which is, feels like a whole new life. Amazing. It's called Sartain. That's the Swedish pronunciation. Sartain, or something like that. So yeah, I was started on the starting dose and nothing didn't work, and then I got to the more normal rate and bam, migraine 98% 8% gone. Amazing. So I couldn't be happier when it comes to that. Little blue pills. Thank you so much for a subscription and gifts, guys. Gifting 10 tiers. Holy cow. Griker. Thank you so much.
Oh my god.
Grike MO. Very, very nice of you to spread the love. So yeah, I'm not suffering as much for migraine, which is insane for me. You know, I had migraine every second day, sometime every day, sometime every third day. It kind of ruined my life. You know, I couldn't do anything. So there's hope for those that suffer from migraines. Going to what's it called? The experts when it comes to headaches and such. I forgot about the name, but yeah, those types of docs have gone forward. All right, enough about that. But yeah, that was why I don't you know, drink wine that much, because it adds to my usual headache. So there's no running giveaway right now, guys, so you don't have to type any command in. So the next step I would like to do, guys, is discuss some of the stuff on the upcoming roadmap, a little bit more exciting stuff.
Oh my god.
So let me show you what that is. So like I said, there are 9 points. I'm gonna go through them. Haku with the gifts. Thank you, man. You're killing it today. Feels awesome to you know, be here again and hang out with you guys. It's been quite the struggle.
Oh my god.
And very stressful. So you know, now we're looking forward to entering the next step. So it's gonna be very exciting. So again, thank you guys for the support. So we have on upcoming roadmap, as I mentioned, we have 1 to 2 more patches that we want to deploy as soon as we can. Additional important steps on the server side, but also fixing some of the main annoyances that affects players in different parts of the game world. We want to deliver those. And as you may know, we also have prepared quite a lot of things. We're gonna release the game on additional platforms. So obviously we are expecting additional amount of players joining in. So we need to make sure we are better prepared for additional influx. Haku with the gifts, thank you, man. And you know, we've been eager to share our release trailer with you guys, but obviously it wouldn't make sense to do it in wrong order and when we had a lot of chaos. So Heki is a bot, Mats is lore guy. No, Heki is not a bot, but he works with a few different things. But yes, Mats is the lore guy. That is correct. Is MO going to be on Steam Deck? I'm not sure, actually. I got some information from Steam, but we simply haven't had the time at all to take a deeper look what that would mean and if it's possible. I don't know yet. It's, you know, I haven't had the time at all, or none of us. So we do have quite a lot of exciting things lined up, and that is why we're still working very hard on the back end. There's a few things we're going to deliver as soon as we can, as I mentioned, along with some important polish and fixes. And as soon as we see that is in place, we are set, we don't have anything more critical that are affecting us, that's when we're going to proceed with releasing the game on both Epic Game Store, and we're also looking at a few other things that is very exciting. The interest for the game have been very large, from players to big companies to different platforms. So there's no denying that when the game works and when we are playing it, it offers something truly unique and very exciting, and there's nothing like it. And we have a hell of a list in front of us with exciting things to come. So this is just the beginning. TXX with the gifts. Thank you, man. Killing it, killing it. I appreciate it. So yeah, we have a lot of important things. So okay, let's get back to the roadmap thing that I know that you've been waiting for a little bit here. So let me pull that on. So again, before you start writing any votes, you have 3 votes and that's it. So you have 3 votes to cast your vote on what you would like to see on upcoming roadmap. And I'm gonna enable it now. One moment, guys.
Oh my god, another one.
Let's see. All right. So here you see 1 to 9 is what you vote with. What you would like to see in the upcoming roadmap in the near future. So these are the 9 points. So you vote by exactly typing the number, and you have 3 votes. So go ahead and cast your votes. You have 3 of them, and we can talk about them a little bit if you have any questions or if there are any confusion. Yeah, quite a spam. I didn't think that through entirely, but hopefully it would calm down in a minute or 2. So what we have here is more Magic School, quite self-explanatory. We have Necromancy as the 3rd still. And then obviously we want to see what the interest is. It's been quite a high interest, and we want to make sure that we keep working on Magic in a proper rate. And of course, we want to make sure that people still want, some of those Magic schools. So after we have delivered Necromancy, which is the next upcoming, we're gonna confirm the 4th Magic school. We have not 100% decided if we pick it or we let you pick that one. We could actually take out 3 or 4 that we know there's high value. They're quite common, so a lot of players gonna participate in them and get joy out of them. And we could let you cast a vote on what exact school the 4th school could be. So we will revisit Magic soon again when it comes to that. More gears and weapons, obviously everything from clothing to light, medium, heavy armor types. We have a lot of different armor types. We just scratched the surface when it comes to a good baseline from light to heavy. And we haven't got to some of the clades, we haven't got to at all. Not even in the first game we managed to reach that. So it's going to be exciting when we reach those clade specific armors. For instance, the Alvarine armors, Ogmir armors, they have very specific design, and the Ogmir is also quite famous for having some of the heaviest tanky armor. So there's going to be exciting things when it comes to additions there. And then obviously weapons, weapon groups and types. We have a lot of additional handles, head types, and we also have a few additional weapon groups to come. For instance, crossbow is one of those. Throwing weapons. So that is also quite a big area that will continuously evolve over time no matter what. But it's always interesting to see what kind of interest there is. More dungeons and bosses, quite self-explanatory as well. We've seen a lot of excitement and people participating in all kind of our dungeons, and it's really awesome to see the boss fights. We have a lot of cool plans when it comes to boss fights. You only seen the beginning still, so no matter what, there will be a constant development there as well. Again, we wanted to see if we should ramp it up additionally or if we're set with that. And also, we only reached tier 2 AI bosses behavior, and we're getting closer and closer to tier 3, which is the Titan, Dragon types and such that have a greater impact in the world and more long-term engagement or interactive. So that is that. Theory. We had Theory in the first game. It was an awesome system. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people, hated it, but for the right reasons. Really cool system. We talked about it before. A lot of people looking forward to that system, so there's no doubt we know. We want Thievery early on in the game. It has its core place in the game. So we want it early on. And there's just a few things we want to rebuild from the first game, and that is the risk, reward, and tools, how you can be an efficient thief. So it doesn't just become a naked thief, try, get killed, repeat. That's not very exciting. So that is kind of the big rewrite section, design gameplay wise. Start part of TC assets. It's the big one, right? So that is why I said start part of it. So TC is also a never-ending story, and it's exciting because we will come up to reach different types of functions over time, and players again have often very cool suggestions and ideas, and if they fit, we will try to make it happen. So what I mean with start part here is the things that we know will bring great value for players to actually start living in their own cities, and not suffering from main functions such as banks, different type of shop options, guard posts, stables, and farms. Those are quite common big functions that will allow you to do a lot of good things, and that also means that you have those functions that why you're using the NPC cities constantly today. So important start pack, I would say, that kind of is the beginning for giving TC functions for those that are interested in building your own cities, small or large. And also that is something, don't think that we're gonna put it on hold just because it doesn't get votes. We do have a general idea and general minimum that we know we need to have it early on. But as I said, we're still very interested in seeing what kind of again, how is the main interest, and obviously we're just a small portion in here based to the whole player population, but quite often it's a very good indication on similar scale when we ask the whole community. So I thought it was interesting to do this today. Wagons. It's a really cool system that allows you to very effectively transport goods. Obviously, building major cities, this is going to be a killer. We are also reaching other functions that rely on wagons. For instance, complex tasks that is below it. We're going to expand on tasks, so there will be different types of tasks that build further standings and different types of rewards, and also starting to access different tiers in those nations, and we get more and more different types of rewards. And some of those require you to actually fill your wagons with goods to transport, or even bring a prison on your wagon to transport, or anything like that, which can also mean tied with complex tasks that you need to protect what you're traveling with. And there could be counter tasks to prevent that. So it could be actually a really exciting player-driven conflict that is connected to nation conflicts. So this is pretty cool, actually. There's more to it, and it's tied to other areas. For instance, you can sign up for a task in one city, one nation, and if another one is signing up for the similar type of task in their cities, it starts a player-driven conflict that you two will fight for or try to succeed with, and depending on the outcome, obviously you are victorious or not. So it's gonna expand on different layers. So quite cool functions down the road, and we'll see where that fits in the bigger picture of roadmap. But also wagons is also one of the keys for future very exciting feature, that is the boats and ships. So it's also a key for that. Master Marshmallow, thank you for the subscription. Oh my god, 12 months. Holy cow. That is nuts. That is nuts. All right, so that's the complex tasks. Rings and amulets. It was a very huge success in the first game. So there's a few things with rings and amulets. So first of all, it's a never-ending discovery and exploration when it comes to finding all these different trinkets, so to say. From common to rare to very rare. There are different tiers of them. They may bring you stat bonuses. They may also bring you skill bonuses. So you can refine your character further by finding very specific rings and amulets, and you can trade them, obviously. And this is the twist on them. They are not lootable when you wear them. So these are pretty much soul-bound. It's almost like the ring powers chooses you. There is a power in them, which means if you do get killed, that power gets destroyed. So you still have to kind of recharge them. So there's a money sink tied to this as well. If you want to utilize your amulets and rings, you need to have the power in place. So there's a loss when you die. That power gets lost, and then to recharge them with a money sink. But this makes it very interesting, because the thing is, we want to make sure there's a trade value, long-term trade value and exploration when it comes to rings and amulets. And we knew that if they are lootable lost, they will go in the closet, which means you will use them completely different. You know, just as in the first game, if there's something rare, powerful, and you can lose it, it gets banked. Period. And we don't see it anymore. Quite sad, right? And then sometime there's some madman that goes out with it, loses, and then someone else banks it. So that is why we took the decision to make rings and amulets magical in the way that they soul-bound to you. So it's up to you if you want to trade them, bank them, use them, and you can't lose them when you wear them. But as I mentioned, you do lose the power of them until you recharge them. Yes, in Mortal 1 they were very expensive, which meant that, you know, from the low tier they were very cheap to the high tier they became extremely expensive. So we saw in the first game where that line was when it wasn't used again. So we want to try to refine that curve to make sure that people, you know, if you're rich, if you want to go for a big battle, it's very important, or whatever that reason is, you may commit to that rich trinkets and you know, go for it and have that small bonus, or to fit your perfect build, or whatever it is. Or in the more common cases, you may use your more low-end tier amulets and trinkets that you can risk on a daily basis, but ties to the money sink, which is always good. That also brings always a value behind gold. So rings and amulets is actually a very successful feature in the first game. It was also very exciting to find them. It was like lottery every time. You never knew what you're gonna get when you open the box of chocolates, right? and you can trade them. There was a huge trade on the broker. So, and you can try to find your perfect setup for your build. So again, it allows you to refine your character even further, and it's also a great money sink and awesome trade value. So it's a good feature. We will have it quite early, but you know, it's always interesting in hearing, you know, see what you would actually see in the near roadmap. Fixed taming. So that is one of the requirements, Karma. Obviously, taming, Beastmaster, and Domination will be a requirement in our upcoming. So there's no need to vote for that. But yes, that will be. The vet system is also something that you don't really have to vote. It will come in a certain order, pretty much. All right, so it's interesting that it's slowing down on the votes on the poll, which is interesting, which can kind of start show us what we're looking at. And as I mentioned, usually it kind of follows similarly to the larger scale when we ask the whole community. Will there be seasons? Yes. The thing is, we do have seasons already, but we don't have too many functional ties to it. But there are areas where it rarely snows until it becomes winter because of seasons. But obviously there's a few things we need to add that we will do, and that is tie cloud and wind, synchronize that with the effects. So when it's thunder and storm, you should see those dark clouds on the horizon, or making the area darker. So jungle windstorms are wild. Yeah, you see the wind on trees, foliage, etc. But as I mentioned, there's a disconnect when it comes to clouds. That kind of is a big thing, right? To make it look like it's a stormy day or rainy, stormy, dark day. So yes, that is also on our requirement list that you don't have to vote for. We need the weather system to be working as intended, because it adds a lot of immersion, and it's just awesome when you see. We actually lower the rain sound. Is it still too loud, you think, guys? But yeah, it just simply adds to the immersiveness of the game. So weather effects will be synchronized. Keith Paradise, thank you for the gift. Night vision is also one of those on the requirement upcoming list that obviously you don't have to vote for. So as I mentioned before briefly, why we had to disable it, because of the rebuild of almost the whole world lighting and dungeons, to make sure that instead of having a annoyance darkness, we made it bright enough to feel the mood and being nice. And also, since we have quite a few light sources options to come as well, both magic wise, alchemy wise, and torch and fire camps wise. So we will up that as well on the roadmap. Thurza Rise Unknown Clade working. So the thing is that there's nothing that brings your trade value, or so the thing is, the home of Risers is on Herbalta, right? So obviously it's gonna have more value and power when we have that continent, because that's the home of the Risers. So with some imagination, you can understand what that will allow you to do when you're known by the Risers. That means you can pretty much ally with the Risers. You will have access to some part of their tribes where they actually kind of accept you without killing you, and there could be some knowledge and trades as well involved. But on Mirland, we only see different parts of invasion from the Risers, from Harbalter, where some of these can also make life simpler or easier for the Riser known players. So right now, there's not much value to obtain from it, but over time there will be more and more. But we want to have it in place already, because it's one big part of the whole plan. So you got the U5 Mega Grant. When will we see U5? So we have done a few steps and tests on Unreal 5. As you may know, they have a preview version build right now that a lot of developers in the world is playing around with and testing, and Epic themselves are obviously doing a lot of good, cool showcases, showing what their technology can do. And what we're always very keen on is to make sure that our game should absolutely not go down in stability due to stepping over to Unreal 5. That would just add more annoyance for our players if that starts to happen. So that is a very important requirement for us, and this is something we're working closely with Epic Games to make sure that that step is secured. And another important factor is performance. They have some really cool next-gen features in Unreal 5, such as nanites and lumen lighting systems, shadows. It's a whole new system how they render and calculate lighting and shadows and polygons in the game world. There are some areas where we can benefit performance, and larger scale building and streaming data is supposed to be greatly improved. So that's a big win for us. But as I mentioned, stability and main performance, raw FPS for the clients, as you as a player, we need to make sure that using these functions shouldn't make your FPS suffer more. So that is kind of important part that we need to have in place. And it's not very quick process just to have all this confirmed and fixed. But yes, the plan is to move over to Unreal 5 to finally get benefit from those functions that our game suffers a little bit from now. Level streams when you stutter, for instance, over certain areas. Things like that is where we can improve with the new engine. But we have quite some testing left to do and some discussion with Epic Games when it comes to their upcoming builds that is not preview, the more commercial builds, because we want to make sure we don't go down in stability when it comes or performance for our players. So we're gonna update you over the coming month how that progress. As I mentioned, we plan to move over as soon as these steps are confirmed and working. Yeah, the 9th point, nation conflicts. That is also tying a little bit to some of the tasks, but also you can align to one of these nations, and that means if there's a conflict between these nations, you are in a constant conflict with everyone else in the opposing nation. So that is kind of like a war. If you remember Chaos and Order from Ultima Line, for instance, or the obvious hordes and humans from World of Warcraft, it's like the two big nations in conflicts, and you can choose to align your guilds or yourself into these nations and participate in conflicts. So if you're really hungry for PvP and such wars, that is some of those options that are going to be offering for you and your guild. And obviously there will be rewards for being a good soldier and being victorious for these nations. Will obviously not go without without rewards in different ways. So that is in short what nation conflicts may offer you. So yeah, that's all the 9 points, and I see a few more popping in, but yeah. So if we take a look on how it looks right now, so we have 28% on TC assets. Obviously, we knew that was a very popular feature of the game that will allow players to expand cities more. Obviously, from small to large, you will have more tools, more control over your territory. So that is pretty much following what we also predicted and we have in store for upcoming roadmap. So important functions for those that owns a house, stronghold, or a keep. TC is territory control. That is the key for territory control starts with a house or a stronghold or a keep. So keep is the biggest key pretty much that you can construct and hold. And then TC will allow you to construct additional specific structures around this area, and you will have different types of services. So for instance, you can construct a stable anywhere near your house, stronghold, or keep, and then you will be able to hire a stable keeper. So, and you can decide what rules goes here. So you can actually build a public open stable that anyone that visits, they may use this stable, and you may charging a little fee. So if you have a very popular stable somewhere in the world, you may be making some money by running that stable, if you choose to keep it public, that is. Banks, another very important structure. It's a very strong protected building with security, and we're looking at two different types of bank services. One is the magical bank stores that kind of have a high security location for valuables. So what we saw in the first game was that as long as you can lose your valuables over a night or a fight or whatever, sieging, you don't use those storage for valuables, and you're kind of forced back to NPC cities. We don't want to feel that players are forced back to NPC cities. So why are NPC city banks safe? An explanation is that they have a magical storage. Kind of comes from Dragon and Dungeons a little bit, the old Dragon and Dungeons pen and paper version that I played as a kid. So a magical storage that you can't simply rob or access physically, to kind of explain it. So that means that you can finally live out in your city with similar security as NPC city. Obviously, right now you can't siege NPC city and destroy it to the ground because of some basic line we need for players in a game world. So obviously, it's still that you will be able to siege anything out in the wild, but that comes down to hard player-driven content. But yes, we're exciting, looking forward to offer you guys these functions that will make your cities thrive, grow, and this is also cool because you can choose to build the most grand popular city in the world and have it totally open for the public, and you set your own rules and laws in there. And the more popular this city is, you may be able to actually make it pay for itself. It is very costful to build a huge empire, to construct and build it, but also to run it. You need to work for that, and that is why it requires team efforts. But there will be some services that allows you to, if it's a very popular city, people enjoy it, you may make some profits offering those services to others that helps to promote that city to become even greater. Then of course, if you want to close it and just keep it private for you and your guild, that is an option as well. Can we have stables at our house, or does it have to be at least a stronghold? No, we're looking at offering you almost every TC function and service and structure for any house owner and upwards. There are some natural pros bonuses for keep owners, and you will also see that you may have noticed there are two very specific buildings nearby every keep. That is also a very important key for future sieging mechanics that makes it quite exciting. So again, we learn a lot from the first game. What is fun when it comes to having a war? What is fun when it comes to sieging? And what is not? And we had one never-ending debate. Should we have a magical shield before it can be damaged, like some other games where you have a time frame, you can't hurt it, and when this reaches 0, now you can hurt it. We never really liked that. It didn't say more than a line. It was very artificial, and we weren't happy with that solution. And it was also pretty much mixed in our community when it comes to discussing that function. But I think we found a very good hybrid solution that kind of makes it look and feel mortal, feel that you still have full control without having this very artificial restriction. So yeah, now I'm going deep at this, but anyway, I think many of you guys are interested in it. So can I vote for two? No, you can only cast one on each, and you have 3 of them. Your top 3. But yeah, so just in short, again, to give you the idea, if you aren't aware already, you can go put up your siege tents and machineries and start shooting at a keep. But that means it's going to be very inefficient because it has a very high defense value, and it's going to be very difficult to take down that way. So another approach that is more tactical correct is to start claiming one of these buildings nearby a keep. If you destroy the threat or the defense on those buildings and claim them, that will take a while, and it also alerts the keep owners. So that means there can easily be skirmishes from small scales to larger scales that, you know, are exciting for players that are interested in that kind of PvP and wars. So that means if you take down one or both of these important supply lines for a keep, that means over time that will weaken the keep. So that is kind of like a very good system that more fits Mortal Online. It makes sense. There's an explanation, you know, just like in real life conflicts, when supply lines are cut, you may suffer eventually and starve and so on. So that means defense is going to go down on the main capital, the main keep buildings, if both of these supply lines have been cut off over time. And that's when it's time to start sieging and be more efficient by actually causing damage to the main city and keep. So I think that's going to be a very suitable system that takes quite a few good things from different games, but I think it's, you know, a good fit and refined for Mortal Online too. So yeah, TC seems to be number one, almost 30%. And then we have more magic, 19. Yeah, magic have always been a very cool function in the first game. Many of you guys have seen the schools we had in the first game. So we had a few more. We had necromancy and elementalism. So we didn't get very far in Mortal 1 either. Things were progressing very slow, and it was very difficult development in the old tech. Now things are much more efficient, and we can do them how we intended this time around, which makes them even cooler. So a few schools will be rewritten quite a bit, and they will be even better this time around. So you got a little taste of necromancy and elementalism in the first game, which kind of gives you a good taste. And yeah, they're really cool, and it offers obviously those that are interested in magic and playing a mage style offers you a much wider option in participating in PvE, PvP, and other areas. Will you be adding houses vendors like in Ultima Online? Yes, you will be able to hire vendors that will sell wares for you. So you will be able to open your own shop and sell them and make money that way as well. So you can start competing with other, you know, NPC cities as well. If you build a perfect city, perfect laws and rules, and people enjoying it there, then you can start promoting that. And it plans to remove the broker in towns when there's player shops. So that is a tricky one. We noticed that when we enabled brokers and buy orders, there was a huge player marketing just exploding, and it became very effective, and it just took off. So we saw without a doubt that was very helpful. Initially, it was like in old days in Ultima Online, where you manually traded. You stood in the market and shouted, "I'm your smith." You know, it had its charm, and it was cool and fun. But in a much larger scale, you can do more efficient trades and business, and simply, you know, when you're asleep, you can still offer your services. And so on. So we want to make sure that we promote that player-driven market and don't cripple it. But yes, as Patwin said, there's an important factor that we want to put into play here as well. It is quite odd if you can hire an NPC, put it in your city, and then just infinite sell all the goods there to make instant money, and it comes from the pocket of that NPC that you hired. It's quite strange, right? So what we're adding here to this very important balance is that for your city to get that value, you still need to do trades to other big ports of trade hubs. So for instance, if you live nearby Tinrem, you will be able to collect a certain amount of value and goods. And this is also where wagons becomes more and more important. Every now and then, it's time to kind of realize your profits, so to say. And that's when you have to do these trades, because how do you get the value if you don't? And that's how you need to bring these to different cities, make the trade, and now you get the profit. So you still need to do city trades, world trades in different ways to generate money. So we want to make that more realistic and meaningful. And it also promotes player interaction, player traveling, and that is exciting for all of us, right? So that is something we're gonna incorporate this time around when it comes to generating gold from NPCs. So that is important to promote the player-driven economy, and also to balance how the money gets into the game world. So we were looking to take the first step in terms of an NPC can't just have infinite amount of gold at all times, but they have a trade. So whenever you buy something from it, it gets money added, and when you sell something, you remove. So you add and remove, and then we need to have a backup line of influx of money that we know, so people can still make a living in a decent way. But we want to incorporate that part where there's some logic how gold goes in and out and how it trades between cities and hubs. Again, to make it more exciting for the player-driven economy. And also, as I mentioned, it's important to have these trade routes. Players and groups need to move around to do these routes, and it's going to be more and more exciting over time, because you may be transporting more valuable goods in wagons, and you may need to have escorts and protection, and then all of a sudden you may have to hire a guild to protect you, and a lot of exciting things comes to play when it comes to transporting valuables, trades, and there are so many different guilds with different mindsets. So it's going to be exciting when that starts to grow. Advertising complex feature mechanics when your fundamental doesn't work. Yeah, that's why I said this is our upcoming roadmap. So what we're still working on is backend stuff, and that's what we've been working on nonstop. And that is not fun or exciting for players, because it's nothing that you can play around with. And we still have 1 to 2 at least of those patches that we need to get in place. And I said that is also a requirement before we launch on the other platforms that we are planning to, which will no doubt bring more players as well. So yes, we will work on those parts now, which we're already working on, get those in place, finish that list of bugs and issues that affects many players. And then when that is in place and we are making sure that now we're happy with the capacity on the servers, we have it under control, that's when we plan to release on the other platforms, and Epic Games release the release trailer, start the marketing campaign again, and obviously we need to start the 3-month subscription over time as well, because we need to, cover expenses. We're reinvesting our money in the development to make it as good as we possibly can. And then finally we get to the real candy, which is roadmap stuff. What is start part of TC assets? So that is, as I mentioned before, TC is a huge complex feature, and that is nothing. We're not gonna just after X amount of months say, here we go, now we got TC, because that will be both a risk and also a very long time before we got a lot of important functions to player-driven cities. So it's like a start package of very high prioritized city functions. Some examples: banks, stables, farms, guard posts, that allows you to construct those important functions that you would need in a city to be more independent from NPC city, for instance. £15 is very expensive monthly. So we are following the traditional standard EVE Online World of Warcraft monthly subscription, and it is looking to be regional based. And you will not pay for any future expansion that you do in World of Warcraft. You will get everything included at all times, including all these upcoming features over the years to come as well, including new lands, new everything that you pay for in World of Warcraft. Yeah, it looks like there's still... Yeah, it remains on TC being most popular, which is pretty much aligned with our upcoming focus on roadmap as well. Magic is a very exciting wide player field option for many players, so that is also, you know, staying true to being a very popular area of interest, number 2 in this case. And we have number 3 is more dungeons and bosses, which is also being very aligned to what we have seen, making people excited and having a very fun time. Venturing into dungeons with groups of friends, clashing with other guilds there, or simply trying to beat those bosses and explore. It's super fun for us to watch you guys participate in that and see your excitement and what you find exciting or fun. And obviously, we know PvE is a very important core pillar of the game that everyone can enjoy in different ways every now and then. So we will expand on that for sure. We have just scratched the surface of the tier 2 bosses and the tier 3 to come, and obviously more dungeons. So that is also aligned with what we are focused on quite a lot on. Number 3, let's see. So that would be more gear and weapons, which is also quite logical, right? Having more options, refining your builds and stats, getting to those clade specific armor types and gear is really awesome, and will obviously give you more options to refine your style even more. And obviously new weapon types, crossbows, super cool weapons I'm looking forward to. Throwing weapons, it will give you more options to be a very versatile, you know, warrior in different ways. We need those bolas and throw weapons, so when you're on foot and have a mounted archery around you, you will have a few more options up your sleeve. And then we also have some important updates and changes, obviously, that will come without having to vote, which is wobbling on mounts. Very important, because it's supposed to be difficult to aim perfect on a mount with that heavy movement. Now that wobbling is not working because it's a very complex system. We can't just add a crazy movement and that's it. But it's a very important balance factor for mounted archery. So we know today mounted archery is very powerful. You have very steady aim, but that will change. And, you know, we also have tower shields. We actually have some tower shields getting ready now as well. Huge shields, really awesome, and they cover your whole body. Will make it very difficult for archers to hit you effectively. What does 4 sound? 4? Do you mean in theory? Another one. Sure, me 95 with the Prime. Thank you. And Captain Helm with the Prime. Thank you so much. Yes, so we have been working a lot on identify, debugging, pets, attacks, etc. And we finally ironed out the main issues here. We can reproduce the issues, and that means we can finally solve it once and for all. So we have some very important polish in the upcoming patch, as I mentioned. That isn't part of the roadmap. That is important parts that everyone needs. So pets will finally be able to have proper attacks in all cases against everything, as it should be, right? So finally we're gonna get that in proper state. We got a very, very important fix in this last patch when it comes to pets navigating in the world, and I'm sure you have noticed all those bush pigs not acting correctly and pets getting stuck left and right. A huge improvement to make sure that we can rely on these creatures and follow movement over the world. And then yes, we are still working on the next very important step, which is the check of attacks and behavior between different mobs is breaking, which means they're just standing there looking. I'm sure you have seen that in some cases. We identify that, so that means we can fix it finally. So yeah, pets and AI, when it comes to that, should absolutely be in a very much good state when we patch these next steps. What would Thievery look like? Would be like the first game, or will it include new mechanics? So in basic in general, it follows the same rules as in the first game. So you have skills that allows you to actually peek into someone's pockets, and so you can see their inventory, which is really cool. And then you have a skill to actually steal something. Depending on your skills, depending on what you can steal and how heavy it is, there's a difficulty factor involved in that. It's going to change a little bit because, as many of you know from the first game, people learned that they shouldn't run around with 1 or 2 gold coins because that was a perfect theft for the thief. So everyone learned to have a big stack of silver, so it became very much heavier and the thief couldn't steal it. Kind of finding that solution around it, and then the thief couldn't do anything. This time around, the thief will be able to take something from that stack, but it could mean a difficulty because, you're reaching your hand and trying to grab as much as you can from that stack. So that's going to change a little bit how you can steal something. So it's not just the easy solution is always carry a big stack of silver and it's solved. So that's going to change a little bit. And then, as I mentioned, for the thief, you actually have to commit more. You have to prepare the theft. You have to have proper tools. That is not free. So there's a cost involved and risk involved as well. So you have to be more careful. You can't just, I'm running back and forth trying to, until I manage to get those money from that guy that apparently is or are AFK for a minute, and I'm trying to just do it in a stupid, brute way, and people are just looking, what the hell is he doing? So instead of that, you have disguise kits, you have different types of tools that you use when you do a proper theft to be able to steal things. And that comes with a cost, obviously. So that means you won't be throwing that away for a stupid theft. You will be doing them more carefully. So there's those two important components that we need to add that we were lacking in the first game. That will bring more balance to Thievery as well, so it doesn't just run around, steal, die, rest, repeat, naked. That wasn't really, the vision we had in the first game, but that kind of how a lot of it turned out, even though there was a lot of cool Thievery moments that were just awesome. So we want to refine it so it's fun and exciting both for the thief and can be rewarding if you're good at it, but also to make sure that there's always some kind of counter with player skills, but also your character skills in a way, and how people around are absorbing the different actions. Render distance for players. Yes, we know. And that is, as we said in previous streams. So the only reason we have it like that right now is because there's a direct cost involved with the amount of data we're sending between the servers and clients when it comes to getting these types of updates, and it becomes very expensive very quickly. We have a very long render distance. You can see a character running around like 5 pixels tall. But yes, when you run against each others, there's quite a delay until you load him and actually see the name and gear, which we fully understand and know that that is too short. It's not pleasant to see who that is until you're up close, when it's, you know, when you want to know if it's a hostile or not. So we are fully aware, and that will change, but we need to do it in the right order. So we have been working on the server capacity day and night, very heavily, dedicated and reinforced developers in that specific field, senior coders that are specified in this type of networking coding. And Sebastian is working with this developer as well to get it efficiently in place as fast as we can. And as soon as there's a few steps left. We know how the different hierarchy works and what the bottlenecks are. And if we just crank the data up right now to load that kind of data, we will just be penalizing the player capacity again until we have solved the real bottleneck for player capacity. So there's two main bottlenecks. One is the overall capacity with a lot of players in the world. There's a specific part where packages start becoming a bottleneck. And then there's when huge guilds or groups are traveling together, which is quite common, and they travel from one node to another node. There's a huge package update because there's so much data we need to know, and that the node needs to know about the players for everything to work correctly. And that means that is also almost like a big attack on that node, which needs to update another server that kind of gets flooded by a lot of data. So there's two bottlenecks that we have fully identified, and we're working on them very hard, and we have very good steps that we know this will completely remove that bottleneck and put it on another server, another procedure, so to say, which means that we can finally remove those issues. And when that is fully done, that's when we know that, you know, huge guilds can meet and fight without causing any issues when there's already a huge load on that bottleneck. And that's also when we can increase capacity even more. We have done already very important steps, but that means we can increase that more. We have a high number target that we know is possible when we're going through these steps. And then we will obviously also make sure we have enough headroom so huge guilds can clash without causing issues. And we want to pull up the update for name and gear, as many of you guys want. Obviously, we all want it. And then finally, we should be able to identify friends or foes on a proper distance that is acceptable and have a much higher capacity. And we will be running this all on Mirland. And then we also have the next continent getting closer and closer. So we won't have any alternate Mirlands left when we're done. How do you vote on this? You simply type the number 1 to 9 and you have 3 votes. So you just type the number and you vote in your top 3. The top 3 things you would like to see first.
Oh my god, another one.
Conservation, thank you for the subscription. Anik, last time you said as we follow weapon usage stats and balance not used weapons. What about lances? Maybe it's time to buff horse armor. Yes, there was a time when mounted combat was a thing, but yes, right now it's not really a thing. Mounted archery is a big thing. So yes, we have analyzed and looked through this, and there is for sure room for improving some of those possible counters, but also never used any more fields. But again, we want to be very careful and make sure that we don't do crazy steps back and forward here. It's perfectly fine now when we identify different things that are underpowered, never used, or simply too bad. And we can take important steps in those areas to see that, okay, now they're viable, that they're options. That is always one of our main goals, to make sure that there are many and plenty options that are viable, and it's up to you to pick and choose. And in some cases, there are tactics against other things that are simply more powerful, and that is something we don't intend to have the perfect balance, because it's impossible, and also because the complexity of this type of game is first person. There's so many scenarios where you can be successful by using completely different types of tactics, weapons, group, teamwork, that is completely changing the balance of one single factor. And that is also the reason why we can't just simply make sure that all these weapons, all these should be killing the other player at the same rate. That is not practical, and it's not possible, and it won't be fun, and it's never going to work. So, but it is clear, yes, when there are certain weapon groups or styles that are simply underperforming and isn't a viable option in any case at all. And that is when it's a perfect case for us to buff them, tweak them, and taking careful steps until people actually see, this could be an option. It fits my style. So we're looking, and we're gathering a lot of data before we take careful steps in those areas. Domination is one of those fixes as well on our upcoming fix patch that we're working on currently. It is an important list that I've gone through that will be in our so-to-call important patches to have things in a solid state before we release on other platforms and start pushing hard again. So we're working as quickly as we can to get that in as stable as we can. Basically, MC is usually for the next 6 months. No, I wouldn't say 6 months for sure. But I would say that you may not just see one patch, bam, perfect, we're all happy, and we see the data is following it. We may see a careful step that there's some adjustment, all right? People are trying around. And if we see that people are still using it, that is obviously a good indication that, okay, now it's worth using. People are using it. And that gives us indication that now it's getting in place, just as we've done with all the clades. So throughout the beta, it took, I don't know, 3 months effectively, or something, 2-3 months, where we worked very hard on the clades to make them all interesting, exciting, useful, and offer different types of tactics. And when we were done, people loving it, and people are finding their own clade and tactics, and we see a very even usage in our whole population. And I think most of you guys agree that we have a pretty good balance there. Again, everything can't be perfect. It's impossible, but we see a very widespread usage. Human clades are trash, Villas too OP. Yeah, that is the thing. If you ask someone else, they're gonna say, no, I prefer human. And why? He have his own reason, and very valid reasons. So again, if we see that one clade wasn't used at all, I'm not talking about a new player jumping in, playing around, and isn't a very active player, or a more long-term player. I'm talking about people that are investing hundreds, upcoming to thousands of player hours. Human clays are pretty strong, lol. Yeah, again, we have a very good balance. It's not that we are in a critical state where we know, holy shit, this clade is so underpowered, no one is ever playing it. That is not the case. We have a solid, wide balance on all clays, and people are very happy picking their clade. So there's no rush in tweaking anything at this point. There are some polish and fixes. We want to enable some of them. That's going to happen. So yeah, exactly. Night vision is one of those I mentioned that we need to enable. I think human class are awesome and powerful, while villas are meh. Exactly, and that's the beauty. We are all different. We have different opinions, play styles, and tactics, and that is why humans may be better for some, Vila's better for some, Ogmir's better for some, Thursa's better for some, and that's exactly what we see in the game. And as long as we see that, we're quite happy, and we don't want to go and fuck things up, right? So, you know, there's more important things that could need a buff or tweak to make more use of function in the game. And Clade balance is not one of them right now. Would there ever be another level of crafting master beyond what we have now? I'm not sure exactly what you mean with that, but what we are getting in our upcoming patch, not this next one, but in one of the upcoming ones, we have finished the mastery crafting on, I think, all weapons. We have cool variations on that. So that finally allows you to do some really cool stuff from common to rare. And that gonna be expanded on all types armor weapons. And as I mentioned, we have what, like 1/10 of our armor gears in the game, or even less. They're gonna offer you a much wider option when it comes to different types of armor and also weapon types. So it's just gonna expand over time, give you more refinement options and styles. Was there a reason the Whitebeard cave was blocked off? I'm gonna tell you one thing. So remember when we said don't use I'm stuck to abuse your movement into a new location, right? You know what I'm talking about. Stuck should be used when you're stuck for real. And sadly, it's heavily used when you're not stuck, but you want to reach something. Understandable so, but it does give the dev team some additional work that is undesired. This is the result. We're working very heavily. We have a team working on all bug reports where people are stuck, floating stuff, holes in the terrain, those nasty things that we simply need to fix. That led to some artists going through all these, you know, we're talking about thousands. One of them was an important place where there was supposed to be a cave. And that hole had to be covered because of a player report in a wrong way, and bam, it got blocked. And then we found that, okay, that's not supposed to be in this specific place. So yeah, try to be careful when it comes to using the stuck function. It's not supposed to be used to reach areas. It's only supposed to be used when you actually are stuck. And if that's, you know, the case, then we will avoid some of these things that happen now. We got a few reports where there are boulders that are blocking things, and that is because of that reason, sadly. So yes, next patch that will be fixed. Should we do the next giveaway? I have another mortal game to give away, guys. So, shall we do it? Are we ready for the final last for today? What do you say? I'm gonna clear it. Bam. And I'm gonna start it. Explanation mark MO2 to participate in having a chance for getting one Mortal Online 2 copy. It is running. It is running. I'm gonna give it a few minutes and then we're gonna run it. It's gonna be a little spammy for a few minutes, I guess, but I will try scroll up and see if I catch some questions while we run that. When can we see a fix on Archer? I mean, Archer skills are loved now. My full Archer Villa goes the same damage with longbow as my almost no archery skill Ogmir. Also, yeah, so archery is... we are going through archery, so there's a few things that happens in upcoming patches. So one thing that is obviously missing on mounts is the wobbling function. It's supposed to be quite challenging to have proper aim on your mount, and you should be able to hold breath to make it more stabilized during a short moment of time when you hopefully will be able to release it and hit your target. And so that adds some value behind the skill investments and also the requirement to actually be effective as an archer. So yes, that's quite important. And then obviously we're also looking into the steps from the different bow types against the different armor types and mounts, pets, etc. So we're looking over it, but again, we want to be very careful because, again, it's not just one thing that, yes, this is it. Everyone can sign under, that's it. Now we fixed it. That is never the case. So we need to remember that there are some important future things that are coming that also tie to the balance here that we're changing quite a bit. And we don't want to go back and forth in different builds that people are relying on and investing time in just because now we are in this state and next month when we get that, it will be too powerful. So that means we need to go around and change damage again, go back and forth, back and forth. We did that quite a lot in the first game and we learned that that is very bad for everything. Player are losing faith and they wonder, okay, so is my build gonna be shit the next month or how are they gonna mess up things? So we're never gonna go in and wreck things down. And that is also why we try to always start. It's better to be underpowered than overpowered, and then we carefully adjust it forward. Kind of how we tried to do it with the Clade balance, and that was a huge success. And right now we are very happy as well when it comes to the weapon group balance. Same thing we apply to that. We see sword, axes, hammers being used and daggers being used. They have their own area, style, pros and cons, and it's perfect. People are really happy with that balance, and we see very even use of all of them, depending again on style preferences, difficulty level, reward, risk reward, etc. So this is the same thing here we try to apply in all areas, and we can understand that obviously when we're missing a very important component that is heavily affecting aiming abilities on a weapon that depends everything on aiming, then obviously that's gonna affect the balance. So we do want to get those parts in as soon as we can now. We had some problem to get that in for a quite valid reason. That is why we don't have it yet. But yes, we see that obviously we need those pieces to get that balance where it needs to be in a better way. Can we get 100 extra action points for more interesting playstyles? Too many essential skills or primers. So, Waffle Comrade. There's a few things that is giving you that. One thing is the veteran system we're going to enable. It's going to come in our roadmap. So that will give you additional refinement on a character. That could give you options to add on action skills. There's also another feature that is this one on the roadmap that says number 8, Rings and Amulets. So Ring and Amulet is going to be almost like in Diablo. You can find these spread out in the world in different ways, and there are going to be millions of combinations because they're going to be generated in a very clever way where they can generate stats, skills in different ways. And you can find a perfect setup for you that also, again, adds skills and stats that, again, promotes to action skills. So those are two options that gonna bring you more skill points, pretty much. Gildark Pots, thank you for the subscription. 5 months. That is awesome. When we get cakes and combine, will the press be purchasable from the Workbench vendor? When will we be able to name and sign our potions? Yeah, so I don't know exactly where we have these on the roadmap, but yes, we will have the cakes again in combine function. We have a lot of features content that rely on the combine function, so we have it on our list. We just have to sit down and put it in on the roadmap somewhere, and that is something we're gonna do after we finished our high prioritized, more critical list that we're working on right now. So we're soon gonna reach that point, and that's also when we're gonna reveal that roadmap publicly, and hopefully you will be able to see these details depending on how much we're gonna add there. And yes, naming things have been highly asked for, such as naming bags. That is on our list. It's quite quick and easy to do. We simply again have to have it somewhere in this prioritized order. So we will for sure be able to offer signing potions as well. I always liked where there's much secret in your exploration, so people can't just get too much information. And that is something we want to offer as well when it comes to crafting and exploring those fields. So you can count that those things will be in the game in our upcoming roadmaps. I'm not sure if everything going to be covered in the first roadmap or where we are at this point. It's a little bit early until we had that meeting. Are any plans to switch around some primary skills to secondary skills? Not really at this point, actually. But as I mentioned, you will be able to, with Wet system, get options to deploy more profession skills and action skills. That will simply give you more options. And the rings and amulets. Is there a good game to win? Ordman, yes, we are giving away a Mortal Line 2 copy. Just type !MO2 to participate. I'm gonna roll it in just a few minutes. Can we fix for viewers where pets can flag you as criminal? Yes. It should be on the list as well. Iceberg K blocked unintentionally. Will be unblocked in this upcoming patch we are working on. Is there any chance that sound effect range gets a huge increase? Do you mean fighting battles and such? We did make quite an increase in that actually, because I agree, we thought it was a little bit too low volume when you hear someone banking that plate on not too far distance, and maybe we need to crank it up a little bit more. So that's some fine-tuning that we could do. And yet on housing fixed for the chest, and would it be possible to get a family chest for friends? So yes, in this list I'm talking about, that is before the roadmap actually, we have some important updates to house functions to make sure that you can use them more efficiently with your friends and guilds. And that is covered on that list, and that is our upcoming patches. So I don't know if we're going to be 2 or more to cover these things I've mentioned that are the more high prioritized things we just simply need to have in place, along with the capacity work we're doing next to this before we take the next step with releasing on Epic Game Store, launch trailer, and start marketing again and pushing our next wave. Is it possible to change your character's name in the future? That is quite sensitive because, as we mentioned before, it's very important that you become known for you in this game. And people can, take note of your name and remember you as a friend, foe, crafter, or sneaky player. And obviously, if you can change that, you're bypassing that whole thing with reputation matters, right? So as you can see, we are very careful when it comes to, scratching your reputation or removing that. Lovely game. Please continue the good work. Your dream is my dream. Thank you so much, Maybe Addicted. It's always awesome to hear that you share the vision of this game and are interested and excited for a true sandbox MMORPG, because me myself is a huge hardcore fan of a true sandbox game, as you know by now. And I'm very depressed when it comes to scouting the MMO market today. There's nothing that slightest piques my interest when it comes to enjoying a good MMO. And that is just disgraceful. 2022, and I can't freaking buy a game and enjoy it. Me personally. I guess I'm damaged by coming from the original MMO types of game from Ultima Online back in 96, Star Wars Galaxies, some EVE Online, and there's some good gems out there over the years. But today, it is depressing to see that there's nothing. There's only another one theme park clone after another one, and it simply doesn't excite me. I even tried Lost Ark because I hear that this game has something for everyone. It is a very good Diablo game. I did enjoy Diablo when I played the first Diablo back in the days, and Diablo 2. Easy to jump in and, get hooked quite quickly. Anarch Online, I played that as well a lot. But anyway, I was running around and I thought, holy shit, is this game old? And yes, it was. I didn't know it was actually released 2019, right? But that explains that it felt a little bit old in some way. And then I just instantly got into this endless amount of go talk to this, go pick that, talk to this non-stop. And I thought, why can't I enjoy the game and do something I enjoy? At least let me go out and fight a lot or do something like that. No. You have to go run around and talk to boring NPCs. And it never ends. I couldn't. I forced myself to play 1.5 hours because I wanted to see what I have done good and what people enjoy, because obviously it's popular, right? I'm not trying to bash a very successful game here. I'm just talking about what I'm looking for when it comes to a true sandbox game. And I struggled to get into it and try to find those things. Yeah, again, it's just sad that there's so little when it comes to a real sandbox MMO game on the market today. And that's why I get so happy to hear that there are so many of you guys out there that kind of share similar experience and want something that is different from all these theme park clones. And what's even more cool is that if we remove when we launch the game, when we run into the login issues, that obviously gave us a huge amount of negative reviews because they couldn't play the game. Totally fair reviews because they bought the game and couldn't play it. We dropped the ball there. We got a lot of negative reviews. It's super cool to see that people are actually playing the game now, enjoying it and changing the review. But what's even cooler is that if we exclude that negative reaction when you couldn't play the game, we're talking about that we have a review rate around 80 to 90% review rating on Steam. That is insane, guys. That means that those that play the game, get into the game, they enjoy Mortal 9 at a very high level. And when I look at the game hours that you guys put into the game, we are smashing Steam's average numbers when it comes to playing the game. So, and that is exciting because that shows that there's a very good interest in the game, and those that play the game get pretty hooked and enjoy it and see the depth and value that no other game currently offers. So, no, I'm not counting queue times, Stain. No. But yeah, it's like I said, 80 to 90% average reviews. That is really high. So it's just a matter of time now until we reach back to those 80 or higher review ratings that we had throughout the beta. So that is very exciting. And that shows that the game may not be for everyone, for sure. We know that. It's a specific game, but it's also a very unique gaming experience. And it's awesome to see that, you know, there's so many. We're talking several hundred thousands of players that are enjoying Mortal Online 2 and looking forward to the future of Mortal Online 2. So we just need to get these additional patch in place now, get the capacity where we need it to be, fix these issues that affects many, and then we can finally go back to the exciting roadmap, exciting content, feature updates, promote the game, market the game, release it on all the platforms, and we will have a very exciting future. Have you tried Elden Ring yet? What's your opinion on it? I got interested in Elden Ring when I saw it. It's a big project, obviously. Awesome team. They've been doing good games. So it was on my radar, and I was thinking, should I play it a little bit? Do I have time? Which is my problem right now. I put all my development time or all my wake time into development in Mortal Online 2. And when I have a little spare time, I try to do some exercisement. And then when I have a little bit more time left over, I actually play the game. I'm playing Mortal Online 2 with a few real life friends, and we have a blast. We're hooked, and we have really fun moments in Mortal Online 2. So I'm just super excited because I know this and that are also coming on an upcoming roadmap, and I can't wait. I'm very excited. So again, Elden Ring was one of the games I haven't had the time to purchase or try, and but even though it was one of the few games that I catch my interest, so I've been looking on people streaming it and hearing their response just to see how much do I need to spend to enjoy it or see what it's all about. And obviously it's a very challenging game, difficult boss fights, and that's the main focus, right? So yeah, I haven't had the time to try it, but it looks cool, and it plays like those Dark Soul games, which are popular games for those that want a big challenge when it comes to fighting. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to have the time to invest in that game, because the thing is also, I may enjoy some of those games quite a bit, play through them a little bit, but for me, I also always look for a higher value, and one of those important value that I want when I invest in a game is I need to have some kind of reward, and I can only get that by other players. So for me today, it's actually quite difficult to invest too much time in a game where I can't play with other players or interact in some other way. So that also makes it more difficult for me to jump into some of those games. And that is why, again, Mortal Online 2 is my number one choice when I do have time to actually play. I jump in and play with my friends, and I have a blast in game. And if I don't have that and are relaxing, I spend some of my time to watching you guys stream the game, because that is also very rewarding and awesome to me to just see how you experience things and enjoy the game. And so every now and then I see, that I want to change that thing, or I want to refine that thing, or that isn't clear enough. So again, it also helps me to add things to our list that can further improve the game experience in Mortal Online 2. What city are you playing? I'm actually currently in Tinram, doing that, sewer runs currently. Let's pull the mortal lottery giveaway now, guys. We have I think we have enough to run it. So let me run the lottery now, guys. Here goes. Good luck, everyone. Explanation mark MO2. Okay, final round. I give you 10 more seconds and then I'm gonna roll it. The last and final key for today's giveaway. But yeah, it's really cool to see your opinions currently on the upcoming roadmap stuff. Is it's pretty much the same as before, and our prediction, and kind of matches the questions. When is this coming, right? It all points pretty much towards what the majority wants currently in the game. Just clarify that the Rise of Known Clay will be enabled when the Rise of content comes out. So right now, it adds to your standings with the Horde, but yes, for you to utilize that function, there are 2 steps that needs to be added. Some things that comes, obviously, the big things comes with Herbaltor, the homeland of the Risers, but also we have quite a lot of cool stuff planned for future invasions and stuff. You know, the Risers are constant threats on Mirland, and they will have different stages where they gonna do some crazy stuff on Mirland. And that's also when some of these things can be utilized as unknown Riser Thursar. So right now, there's nothing you can really benefit from it. You know, you can still keep your Horde Riser as low as possible, so you don't have a high negative standings, and that Clade will help you additionally. But yes, right now you can't really utilize specific functions, so it will be more enabled along with some of the invasion events that gonna happen, and obviously even more with Herbaltor, the homelands of the Risers. When we get buy orders, so buy orders is also on that list that I'm talking about, that is before the roadmap. So I think we have a very clear list on things where is the absolutely main request from you guys and main complaint, I would say, on what's bad or missing. Those things are covered on our lists along with the back-end work we're working on very hard. So very important fixes. And some functions, and buy orders is one of those. Yeah, there's room for a lot of quality of life when it comes to auction house, the broker system, to make it even more efficient for players to use it. So yeah, for sure. Okay, are we ready, guys, for the pull the mortal game? Think we're ready, right? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna roll the last and final game copy for today's giveaway. Let me start it, guys, and I wish you good luck. Let's do it. All right, here goes. Boom. Good luck. Hide that for now. All right, here goes. Who's gonna grab the last key for today? It's gonna be boom. Congratulations, Steel Blade 66. You got yourself a MO2 copy. Congratulations. Steel Blade 66, are you a current Mortal Online 2 owner? I'm just curious, or if you are a lucky son of a bee that that got the game, that haven't played the game before. Steel Blade 66, can you send me a DM here on Twitch? I'm gonna give you the key. Steel Blade, I'm lucky, you sure are. Let me see. Steel Blade. Do you have the game? Have you played the game, Steel Blade? I'm just very curious. The other guy, Rogue's Cunning, are you still here? Have you played the game before? I'm just curious if it's new guys or old timers or. Let's see. All right. I'm gonna give the key now. One momento. Right, Steelblade 66. Congratulations for the key. And go ahead and add that product in Steam, and you will be able to install Mortal 2 and get playing. By the way, I got an awesome letter today, guys. I almost forgot. Let me see. How could I show it? I'm gonna read it at least. Let me see if I can pull it up. Shit, my brain is standing still. One second, guys. Bear with me. I got a very cool letter today. To the office. And really awesome. You know, sometimes you guys really surprise me with your thoughts and support and all that. You know, it means a lot, guys. We really appreciate it. And it just makes it all worth it when working so hard, going through so much, and having your support. It's just awesome. So I got a real letter, handwritten letter, almost handwritten, saying, "Greetings, Henrik and Starvolt."
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Wait. Hello, Henrik. I wanted to ask you, the Steindro cave up that is also Timilia Buzzy with it. Thank you for donation, and you know that there'll be more to it. There'll be more to it. That's what I can say right now. But let me just quickly read that letter. Greetings, Henrik and Starvolt. I'm sending you this letter from Orlando, Florida, USA. I've entered the queue on February 5th, 2022. If my calculations are correct, this letter will reach you before I enter Nave. The queue bus is quite dangerous and difficult to safely navigate. All jokes aside, you guys are doing great. I wish you the best, and I can't wait to see what comes next. Please buff fat human mages. All the best, Alonso. Alonso, is you in here in the Twitch? I want to personally thank you for that awesome letter. You made our day posting that letter to us. Are you in here, Alonso? I'm curious. Maybe or not. The time zones could be difficult, right? But really, I appreciate it. Awesome letter. And it gives so much joy and energy when you guys, just do anything like that. It's me. Sure, is it you, Alonso? I'm not sure. But yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for the letter and all your support. It's awesome to have you guys in our community. It is 4:70 p.m. in Orlando right now. Yeah, I suspect the time zone could be a challenge. But awesome. Again, I appreciate it. I just wanted to say thank you for posting us that letter. Yep. Yeah, so I think the poll remains strong. And yeah, it pretty much confirms where we stood before. They're gonna confirm our focus on the roadmap. When people work on a game, so we are 30 something. I have to actually calculate again exactly how many we are, but we are 30 something. Slowly growing. We are talking to some senior coders that we actually were working with some coders back in the days many years ago, that is familiar with our pipeline, a little bit familiar with the pipeline, which is a very big bonus, but most importantly they have the right skill set for exactly what we are looking for. It's quite specific and very challenging to get into the development of a game like Mortal 9. It's very different from many other projects and many other game development pipelines. And we are very, we're pretty much molded over the years what works for us and how we work. And it's not the easiest to get straight into that pipeline. But we know how important it is to get expanding our areas and especially offload some of our guys that simply have a little bit too much on the table, myself included as well, so we can focus even better on what's very important for the development and future. Please fix heavy armor only made. Adjust heavy armor player speed riding horses. No, that is one of those things that fix the meta. It's there's no such thing as fix the meta if you look at the data. The data speaks for itself. That is also one of those things that kind of shows a good balance overall, because it's quite clear to see what's going on in the game. So again, nothing is perfect, will never be, and there are most likely room for some adjustment over time. But again, right now we have some very important priorities that we all need to get into the game as soon as we can, first and foremost. We implement a system to be able to pause reading a book to read a different book. Can be annoying to have a book that takes too long to read and not be able to switch. I guess quality of life function. I'm not sure how easy that could be done with the system we do have. We could look into it and see if it fits and works. Maybe makes sense. There's, one of the odd thing is I guess that when you do start reading a book, you kind of consumes it, right? So what happens then if you want to pause that and read something else? Are you queuing up a hidden list? There are some question marks, right? So again, it needs some careful thoughts before we can look into that. But not a very bad idea. I see where it can be a quality of life thing. What does TC asset mean? So TC means territory control assets, pretty much, which is, for instance, the start batch we're looking at to add is player banks. You can construct a bank, hire NPC bank services, shops, stable keepers, farms, guard posts. Those are very important big components for TC, constructing your own city and getting control of that. That also gives you those functions that keeps you in NPC cities today. That list is huge, but we're gonna start with one of those features that giving you better functions in your own city, and you can live there. No meta, boys. Heavy armor meta a myth. No, I'm not saying that. I mean, if you talk to any veteran that PvP and play a ton, they're also gonna explain that, sure, there's a metas, but we see so many variations and different build that what is the meta then, right? We see heavy builds, we see hybrid builds, we see mage builds, we see fat builds, we see bulging, obese, and lean, fit. So what is the meta? You tell me. If we see a very even number playing all these different clades and styles, kind of tells us that, obviously a group will always be in need of heavy fighters. That is quite natural. It will always be in need of healers, always be in need of stuff like that. But again, there's a whole spectrum of options in use that everything is a meta. Yes, housing is getting an important update as well in this upcoming patch that is not on the roadmap, it's before, that gives you better control over your house stronghold for you co-owners, friends, and guilds. We heard you. We heard you. We know. And yes, one important function is that you can construct a building that will allow you to hire priests. And you set the rules on those priests. Ada for next patch, I'm not entirely sure. So we have, again, a list that's going to be broken up into, I'm guessing 2 or 3 patches. We don't want to wait too long and have a huge patch. As you know, we've been frequently, we had every second week we had a patch, and it's been working very good, very efficiently for us, and it's also a good progression. It also allows us to have a more isolated amount of things going into the game, so it's controlled and stable. So with that said, we do need some time now to make sure we fix some of these things that we want to deploy next. So we will know next week where we're standing, but as soon as we can. Can we build a workbench that doesn't disappear? Yes. So right now, with the last patch we did, furniture should work. So if you place something now, we have followed through that since people placed since that patch, and nothing have disappeared since. So this means you should now be able to place furniture, workbenches, whatever you want, and it should remain there. We have noticed that there could be a loading issue. We heard that one guy had to relog to see it in this latest patch. So that is obviously something we're looking into to make sure that load is secure. But we haven't seen a loss, which is most important. And our GMs are gonna announce a program where we visit you guys in your house, confirming the house owner and items to help with lost furniture before the patch. So we're gonna have to spend a few days to take care of that, and GMs will help you. Please make players use a gold sink to allow resupply, but leave gold generation to the cities. Yeah, so I talked a little bit about that earlier in the stream today. An important economy factor that we want to put into play. So if you imagine if you hire an NPC shopkeeper and you just go with the guild, harvest a lot of resources, and then you go to your NPC and sell everything to that NPC. It's quite strange, right? That NPC have endless amount of gold that he always buy from you. So we want to try to incorporate a more meaningful trade between cities and hubs that also promote player interaction and transportation. Again, wagon is an important upcoming feature, and it's exciting. It's a risk. It's exciting. You may have, you may have to hire guards, escorts, and all that. It ties to an exciting, interesting situation, and also make sure that we don't just have a influx of endless amount of money constantly from an NPC. That is a little bit strange. So that is something we're also looking into when we're adding the NPC services in TC that we want to refine this time around that we didn't do in the first game. Fishing is super nerfed and almost nobody likes fishing anymore. Do you plan to rebalance it? We see a lot of people are fishing constantly, so I don't think it's, that nobody likes it or find it useless. We did have to do quite harsh, important balance fixes because we saw a huge issue that directly interacted with the economy of the game, and we want to make sure that that doesn't go too deep and too far and going endless continuously. And with that said, we do want to look more into how we can further refine. There's a few things that we don't want to take away too much, and that is the player skills and knowledge how to pinpoint certain amount of types of fishes or things. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we have a proper balance on that, as you can understand. It's important. So, we will most likely revisit to do some refinement and tunes to it. And why did you close more than one? I wanted to play it too because I didn't want to lose my progress, and I have friends there. We haven't really done anything with Mortal Iron 1 yet because we simply haven't had any time at all. So it just is what it is for now. And we will, obviously, when we have a better moment in time to kind of take care of that step and announce exactly how it will be done. Mages are not able to thrive in the game without having a melee or archer backup. Are you looking to improve mage independence? Yes, and that happens along with more magic schools. Next magic school, which is Necromancy, allows you to construct undead pets, different types of forms, and there are some very important spells that you will be able to cast as a necromancer as well, and you can cast those spells at the same time as you're running. That's one of the specific rules for necromancy. You can run and cast, which you can't with spiritism and ecumenical. So already there, you're gonna get a lot more options to use as a mage. And that's just with this next third school. And fourth and fifth school, you're gonna have much more options. Hello Nick, it's me again. I stopped by to leave that big hug from the Brazil community. We're excited and looking forward to so many new features in Borderline 2. We are very happy with the direction that Borderline 2 is progressing. We admire your work and dedication. A big hug, my friend. Thank you so much, Bad Boy BRTV. Thank you so much. Can you explain why the mob respawn is so slow? At the moment, one single player can clear a big area. So again, it's a progression when it comes to finding a sweet spot for both our population on Milan, that we are growing now along with our upcoming patches quite heavily is the plan. Obviously, that means we need to retweak some numbers here, but we also have another news that is important. Hey, Danny, thank you for the donation. Good balance, capes, tabards, make it purchasable. I don't mind spending $5 each. I'm not sure if we're gonna sell those. It's a good idea, and again, we have looked into that, but I think that majority will benefit more and find it enjoyment that everything can be obtained in the game in the right way, both by creating, crafting, exploring, and refining and buying all that. And it's all included in the subscription month. So obviously we want to make sure that a subscription month, subscription fee feels worth it for you as a player. And you should be getting everything for that money. All the expansion, updates, everything, and all content. And we don't want to hide or lock anything to try to get you to pay more microtransactions and such, because again, that we think that it could be a negative impact, and those are the things we don't enjoy in those so-called free-to-play games that are far from free-to-play if you want to compete at any normal level or getting any exciting features eventually. And I also think that is one of the things I hear right now, that is some people are getting a little bit disappointed about Lost Ark. If you want to upgrade your stuff and get more in a higher level, you need to start paying a lot of money. And it goes quick. And those are the things that start getting a negative experience in these games. And we don't want to sacrifice pure, awesome gaming experience locked by money non-stop. We want everyone to see that you get everything instead. All the same terms, no pay to win. And all it requires is a monthly subscription. So that is our hopes and goals. And so far we've seen that a lot of you guys seem to be highly supportive of that, which is just awesome, because it will give you a better game and better experience, no doubt. And it will also, if you plan to be on a competitive level, it will also save you a lot of money. And that's a fact if you look at the models. So yeah, hopefully. But yeah, well, as I was saying, we actually have a new system that we're going to deploy as well in our upcoming patch that will have a bit more of a dynamic behavior. So it will keep track of you moving around in the world, and you may be surprised that, holy shit, what the hell is going on over here? This spawn have never been here before, or mobs or stuff like that. So yes, we are working on improving world wildlife randomness and that whole thing. And the game is freaking amazing. Are there any plans to update the Tuxai side of the map with more items of interest or resources? Also, why do humans have the Thieving Clade over Alvarin? Good questions. So, there are still room for a few things that we're going to add in the world, yes. And the Tuxai area will get some of those spawners, both pickable things and creatures. So yes, there will be some more, and not only in that area, additional areas in the world will also get more of it. Already in our next patch, you will see some updates throughout the world, and some of them more that feels a little bit empty will also get additional updates. Thievery. So humans have been quite famous as the common thief in the mortal universe. But yes, nothing says that Alvarins could becoming thieves, but for our view and take on it, the humans were more the classic standard thief in some of the areas and directions, while the Alvarins Vilas Shiras wasn't really the typical thief. But everyone can pick it and do it equally good. It's just that one of the humans gets one of those clays that get a small bonus to those skills. It's simply how it is, due to how we how we see the different clades, what they will be more common to do, that is portrayed in the different races. Simple. Guild banners, cape, tabards also read donations. So yes, we're gonna add a dye tube system that allows you to, so everything in the world have a color connected to it. Everything from fishes, plants, most resources, you can extract colors from. And then soon we're gonna add a dye tube where you will be able to extract and put this color strength in one of these dye tubes. And then you will obviously be able to use this dye tube to color any soft tissue in the game, including banners, cape, tabards, including soft tissues on all current gear and armors. So that obviously going to give you more tools to make you look different and unique, and also obviously pick your guild color to identify your group better. So that is obviously something we all want and need. And we're going to try to get that also somewhere close in upcoming patches. So yeah, for sure. I love fishing. Awesome to hear, Coffee Grinds. What is TC? Territory control. So that is the first batch we're going to deploy with territory control structures for. And the key to start that is building a house, stronghold, or keep. And then you'll be able to construct territory control structures around this area. And such start examples of that is banks, stables, guard posts, priests, houses. And then there'll be many more over time that gives you simply new functions and tools for you to build your own city and keep it public, open, and put taxes on your services, or simply close it for you and your guild if you like to. So that will also be a big step that really allows you to build your own kingdom and live there, and you are not as independent on NPC cities anymore. There will still be important trades to be done, but you'll be able to build your own kingdom with the start of more of the TC functions. We'll be able to respawn at our house with just a bed or something like that, not a full-blown priest. Is that already possible? So we intend to add a few interesting bonuses to some of the furniture in the house that makes sense and actually gives you more interesting for going for those functions. For instance, sleeping in a bed is a cool thing that if you sleep in a bed, it could be well rested when you log back in, which means you may have additional bonus on your resource, for instance. So that means you can go at it without start getting the gray bar eating. That is a quite suitable function, for instance. If you have a library, bookshelf, stuff like that, you may have a bonus on your reading skills. So if you log in and you have that, you may have a boost on your next hour of reading and gaining skills. So there are natural good bonuses to be added on a lot of the furniture that makes sense. So it also gives you a small neat bonus that also again promotes that you build those things and actually use your house and log out there and get those bonuses. So yeah, we plan to have quite a few of those I'm quite behind now, I see. Fishing sucks bad right now. You can lose money if you're doing it wrong. So there's a few things we're looking at this, obviously. So one of the things was when the pros pinpointed a way to have value, way too quick, too fast, and we were slowly starting to threat the economy. Obviously, that we need to protect at all costs. But yes, if you don't know what you're doing and you do things wrong, or then yes, it may actually cost you some more. And obviously, that is a balance we want to find where it should be easy to get into fishing. And okay, I know how it works now. I can start making some money. And then obviously, the exploration and knowledge comes when how do you get to the real goodies and high value in different things that people may want to buy from you or you can sell. That is the balance we want to find, obviously. So yes, I know that we did a quite harsh adjustment to make sure that we protect the economy from fishing, and then yes, we will try to refine those parts that makes it a little bit forgiving and easier again. My neck is bad today. Let me scroll down and let's see where we are. Henrik, subs. Are we having different sub options such as 1, 6, or 12 month type of subscriptions? Yes, we plan to offer those type of packages with obviously some discount the bigger package you're going for. Can we have an option between shout, say, when we are out in the wild so we can speak in larger radius? Do you mean by text or by VoIP? By VoIP, it should be using, closer to real life rules, how it comes to when sound travels over distance and all that. We try to use the same calculations. Text, we used to have a yell function in the first game that gave your text more clear, distinct, and it traveled further. So you could actually yell at someone quite further away and they could see that text. And then you could do a normal message that were shorter range. And then you could do, I think we had at one time even a real whisper where you have to be very close to hear. And yes, that is useful. Let us mark our map. Love the game. Yeah, for sure. We have cartography, a feature plan on the roadmap that will allow you to pinpoint more details on the map, paint and create them while you're moving around, and then obviously sell and trade those maps. That will be more effective to see the different areas or even cities. I don't know where this is on the roadmap at this point though, but we have plans for that. And that is also why we added one example of a quite basic world map of Mjolland, as everyone have, that shows you kind of what that's going to be about. Same thing on the Haven map. Guild banners, capes, and tabards are cosmetic only. What are you on about, my man? What do you mean? Of course it's cosmetic, but it's also a highly tactical component for a guild, right? Identifying and such, and you can modify and make them look unique with colors, and also design your guild emblems when we have that system in place. And I don't think we want to charge for that, add a microtransaction, because then we are stepping towards that thing that I mentioned before that will make the gaming quality go down a little bit. So we want everyone to be happy to design and create their own colors, and find joy in doing that for yourself or your guild or as a service and sell to others. I love sub without pay to win. Yeah, I mean, I agree. If I were to pick the perfect sandbox MMORPG, it will be a game like Mordline 2, and I would prefer a subscription-based model, so I know that there's not too much crap going around because you need to invest to get into the game, and if I know that I'm getting everything, it's no pay to win, same terms for everyone, and I can enjoy everything in the game for that amount. And additionally, that is not seen or got in other games, is that you also get any future expansion for free. We're not going to charge for the next continent. You just get that included. Yes, the houses is getting an important update with additional options for you as a house owner. You will be able to make co-owner, and you will be able to add a specific function that allows you to kind of make house friends. And that will allow your friends to also utilize function of that house. And you will be able to set certain rules for accessing chests and so on. So that will go for all house types and strongholds. Let me jump straight down to latest. I see I'm quite behind, guys. And then I'm gonna take a few more, and then I think it's time to wrap it for today's stream. We'll be able to see bags on our characters' backs sometime in the future. So there's a cost tied to everything additional we want to add visible on a character. There's a cost on the network and on the rendering. So it always comes down to a struggle. How much can we afford, and what do we want as a minimum, and what could be too much? And we found that we know that we want to support the greatest battle in history in any MMO, and having all that done in a next generation visuals. And we're quite proud to have that record today with the best FPS possible, with around 300 plus character on the screen, and you have a quite decent FPS, which is quite amazing for a game with the high detail we have, both visually but also combat wise with the hitboxes and all that. Obviously that comes because of very good planning and hard work when it comes to building a very smart system for this. This is usually one big challenge in a MMO, to make that work, because we know that we're going to have tons of combination and gear that you can put on. Everything looks unique. It's not like in Diablo, you have 10 different armor types that looks completely different in the icons but look the same on your character. That is never the case in Mortal 9. Everything gonna look how it looks, and we want to make sure that performance is always king. So that is why we decided how much we can show when it comes to that. And that is where we are right now. I mean, there's always room in the future, depending on how things progress, if there's something that is worth adding. But again, we are right now prioritizing high player population in one location, and we are prioritizing to be able to increase distance on getting important information such as name and gear until we have that on a very good level, so everyone is happy with that. That's when we can start to see what more there could be room for. we're thinking about looking for a group chat or feature in town so people guildless or lonely players could organize themselves for some travel adventure rather than some spam hub chat local. So yeah, what we want to promote a lot here is I don't know if you played Star Wars Galaxies in old days. There was a cantina that people were gathering to pretty much boost their stats and so on before they were going out adventuring again, because they need to hang there for a while. And that was a perfect area and moment to socialize with people, teaming up, do whatever, and it was just awesome. And that is what we also have plans for when it comes to our taverns. So taverns will work as a mission hub, the task hub, I would say, that you can participate in different work for the nation and also the different conflicts in the future, but also a place where you can hang to play games, make money, and do different activities and social activities and RP activities with other players. And that would also be a perfect opportunity for you to obviously talk, socialize, and do exactly what you asked for. So we're going to promote taverns heavily into that. How's it going with cheater speed hackers? Saw something about cheaters putting like 10 mini kings heads on broke, etc. Yeah, so obviously we have cached them, we have removed those, and we're banning accounts. And we're working closely with our two partners when it comes to battling this as well. Both Valve and Epic Games, and along with our own tools as well. So this is something we're working on as well, next to everything else, and expanding on, because this is how it always have been when it comes to MMO games, any online games for that matter. There's always rotten cheaters, and there will always be. They will always try things. So what's important here is that we always keep updating our tools, refining them to make them as effectively as possible, to very quickly eliminate them, and also be able to remove whatever they may put in a game, and go through that whole chain as well. So that is also something we're working with. Sadly, unfortunately, that is something we are forced to work with, but it is necessary, and we knew that from the beginning that would be a thing. It was always a thing in the first game, and it will always be a thing for any online game. So we're banning a lot of accounts, and we are putting things into place that gives us better control for sure. Wagons or carts? Yeah, that is one of the feature on the upcoming roadmap as well, that allows you to do a lot of things, from transporting heavy goods. Building a huge city will obviously be very important for that, and upcoming tasks will require wagons, and it's also the key for future features such as ships and boats. So wagons is needed. The question is exactly where it goes in the roadmap. Background out, please. What the hell happened? Did my sound die, guys? Let me take a look. What happened?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Is my sound gone or what? Did you hear that? I can hear it. All right, we're good. All right. Cheaters are scum indeed. They are always a threat against all us that want to have online games. And it's just sad. It's strange how someone can think that cheating is fun or cool when it does nothing but sabotage a huge thing that a lot of people want to enjoy. But that is life. Just as in real life, there are people that do stupid things, and it's just a sad reality, and we always have to make sure we always have room to work and focus on that area to be able to battle it and handle it as effectively as we possibly can. And we're not alone. This is one of the biggest questions from all the big companies we've been talking with, and they are also always have to work on those areas. When the clothes will match the weather, as soon as you possibly can. We know that we want to do that update. Again, we will see when we have pinpointed the coming roadmap after our first patches we're working now. Then we will see what fits in that roadmap. Then obviously we will have more roadmaps over time. But there will be something very exciting in every roadmap. We are over 30 people, so there will always be some areas that overlaps in different ways and let us deploy different things. So there will be something interesting in every of those roadmap patches for sure. Very similar to how it was throughout the beta, which was just very exciting and awesome. Cheaters won't last long on a box price and submodel. That is true, and that is also one of the things that helps us to give more quality experience in the game and better control. Because yes, when we went free to play, for instance, in Mortal 1, it was a shit show of madness, and we had to devote so much time and energy to keep that under control, and it just steals so much development time from the actual game. Very sad. So yes, that is also something we, are helping us for sure. Oh shit, I don't know why my neck is horrible today, but holy cow. Alright guys, I'm hitting over my 3-hour mark today. Only account's been banned. I don't have a number, but it's quite a lot of accounts that have been banned for various reasons, unfortunately. I've had a chance to play Mortal 2, to be honest. Yes, I actually have played it quite a bit on and off the latest 2 weeks. Not as much as I would like to because of lack of time. But I actually started to play it with a few real life friends, and we have had a blast and enjoying the game a lot. Yes, things are not progressing in terms of roadmap updates because of we're focusing on backend capacity improvements and some of the most annoying things or that affect a lot of people, and that is the 2 to 3 patches that we're focusing on in these upcoming weeks as fast as we can to get those in place, and then finally we can start getting into the candy, which is the roadmap with more exciting things. It wouldn't make sense if we skip fixing the core pieces that we really want to have in place so everyone can enjoy the game at a good level before we go to the candy. I think that makes sense for most of us. But yeah, the downside is obviously not as exciting right now when that part isn't progressing until we get those pieces back on track. But we're getting close, guys, and I'm getting more and more exciting to see, wow, finally we're getting to those things that we are looking forward to. And that is also why we paused subscription. We didn't release the release trailer, and we haven't released on other platform that we're going to release on. So there's going to be a lot more cool stuff going on, marketing, more players, new players, and yeah, we will get there soon. Are people still paying for subs, or are they playing free currently? No, you play Mortal 2 for free right now. We haven't started a free month until we have reached those. I don't know if it's 2 or 3 patches, something around that we're working on right now, which we're gonna deploy as soon as we can. That should put us in the place where we need to be, and then we will see where the status, if it's ready to start a free month. Yes, we will offer 1, 3, 6, and maybe 12-month packages with some discounts. Are you like a regular player, or do you have a special title or something? I play as a regular player and quite undercover, and I enjoy it a lot. I have a blast, and I play just as you guys. No special treatment or anything. The only one that knows that it's me, it's my real life friends that I'm playing with, and we have a blast. And yeah, that's it. That's how I enjoy the game, just as how you do it, guys. From a player perspective, what do you feel like you should implement next? So, as I mentioned, we have quite a list that we're adding to the game now as fast as we can. It's important requirements to feel that now it's ready to start the free month and eventually start subscription and have a stable, reliable state with good capacity on mainland. And then we're going to present to you the roadmap, which I also obviously personally think that should be implemented next. Very fun, exciting, important gaming feature that many players enjoy. You see some of them on this list here, 1 to 9. Those are some of the areas that we're working on. Don't hurry with the new patch, just take your time. Yeah, I mean, we are in a release state, so obviously we need to be careful and respect that we need to go through isolated areas and make it as, as stable as we possibly can. The unfortunate position we have been in when it comes to having a whole new level of stress and pressure on the server parts that we never had throughout the whole beta stress test, promoted stress test, and all those sessions. The impossible task as a small independent company, not having the resources to click a button, get the hype of 50,000 players joining the game at any given time, just as a company like Blizzard or such. It's one of the big challenges we have against us at all time, and we can't just avoid that. So that simply means that we need to go through this to solve it. And obviously the best thing we can do is obviously make sure that there's no subscription active while we think that isn't up to par. But yeah, we do our best the fastest we can, but obviously we want to make sure that we release the patches as stable as we possibly can. And we're also looking for a public test server currently. So the question is that we discussed internally: will our community have the interest and time to jump in on the test server to really help us test some of these areas that we're looking at, or would they mostly just spending their time in the game, which is fully understandable, right? We've seen some games successfully run public test servers, and maybe that is fully working for us, and that we have enough players that are willing to or have the interest in actually joining in, try some new things out, and at the same time help us secure that content patches. So yeah, that is what we're planning right now, and we will see if we get enough pressure on that test server to give us efficient data to confirm we're good to go and put that live. Make test server free to play. Yeah, well, if we do it free to play, we also let in a hell of a lot of possible cheaters that will start trying things now early on until we need to make sure that we are always is a very close step and follow up and have full control. And that is something we're already working hard on, because we see new things people are trying, and we don't want to make that too easy for them right now. when we are deploying some very important protection systems. So we will see down the road for sure. Or employ more devs. Yes, we are reinvesting the fundings we got. We are reinvesting very importantly in reinforcing our developments and investing in educating very talented senior coders that doesn't need to be taught, how to code. Obviously, they are really experienced coders, but they need to get into the pipeline, and that is very important for future development to be effective and stable. So that is something we're doing already. When we're getting magic defense, armor, shields. I'm not sure exactly when, but there will be component materials and enchantment that will affect magic as well. Not sure when that will be on the roadmap. We will see. We will know more how far we can get when the first roadmap is fully covered and what goes on the next one, and continue from there. We'll have to go through Haven on test server. So important purpose with the test server is that it needs to be an exact copy of the real situation, so we know this is what's going to happen when we push it live. So it needs to be an exact replica of live situation and live setup, both hardware, software, everything. So yeah, that is the core step. Maybe providing PvP packs will interest people to play in test server. Yeah, we discussed that too. So there's some things that are, could be promoted. Fighting and things to promote, for instance, stress testing a fight in a specific area. That could work. But then there's also a few areas that we are multi-threading and splitting up in different ways to expand on multiple servers to increase capacity. That can tie to all kind of gaming experience, from moving to crafting to gaining skills to everything. And that is something that we simply need to have experienced as it would in a real game server over time. We found one of these things in this previous patch when we had to quickly do another patch, the latest one. And that is the tricky thing, because we would assume and expect that no one would be playing on a test server as you would on the main, because it's not persistent and it may not save and stuff like that. So why would you go with your friends to do a rise a dungeon hunt, or why would you start doing this specific crafting? You most likely wouldn't, right? Because that wouldn't be persistent. So that means we need to be specific on, we need to test this isolated area. Where we do think it could be very effective is, for instance, now we're deploying the first pack of TC. Feel free to go experiment, try it around. I think many of you guys will be interested in trying that, to get that knowledge, to know what you're going to do exactly right when it goes live. And that will be very helpful for us to secure and testing that. But when it comes to the server capacity, for instance, now there's so many areas that are affected that we can't just say test everything as you would on live, because people won't play as you do on live on test, right? Doesn't make sense. So some things are tricky, some things can be for sure well tested. Yes, we are aware of the VoIP goes through the different else yet. We had the wrong number on those instances, and we will fix that next shortly. Furniture though is fixed, and we have that confirmed so far. Not a single case of missing furniture after the patch when we fixed the server. Before that, yes, people have been losing furniture, and that's what our GM gonna put up a program for reimbursing those over X coming amount of days. Is there a reason this game works better for NVIDIA than AMD GPU? No, it's not that we have specifically done work to promote NVIDIA in this case. It's more that NVIDIA have been doing work with Epic Games, the engine, and added some function quite easily for us to utilize, while AMD haven't, which is unfortunate because obviously we wanted to support that as well. So I hope that AMD will incorporate that better with Epic Games. I don't know if that's gonna happen, or if they simply do something that allow us to utilize their function in a easier way without having to spend a lot of development time specifically for those cards, because it's not really something that is that much on our table. Make them all 3x XP. Yeah, well, that's the thing. We had a long period of time on beta when everything was sped up extremely, and as soon as we put it on a normal rate, a lot of things showed, both balance-wise we need to tweak, but also bugs and how the servers are updating skills in a very unnatural way. So it's not that easy. If we sped up those things, our server's going to be flooded by updates that isn't natural, and that will also give us false data. So you see how tricky it is to make efficient test servers with remaining unreliable data that we know is valid. So it's not that easy. All right, guys. I'm a bit over my planned stream today, but it's been a good stream today. I'm getting energized by you guys, and good discussions, good questions, and we got 2 lucky winners of Mortal 2 copies, and interesting to see this on the upcoming roadmap, some of the important things that we have, and seeing your opinion still match our vision and what we're looking at and what we kind of predicted or looking for. Where's there a description of what TC is? TC is territory control, so it's kind of gives you the more tools to build your own city, village, or kingdom. So that means the first important step to give you those important tools. Let's see, do we have anyone streaming today, guys, that we may want to jump into? How does it look? We do have quite a few streamers. Do we have a name today, guys? Oh, I have one picture actually I wanted to show you guys. I almost forgot it. It's nothing spectacular. It's just showing that we have a lot of cool... Now when we've stabilized the furniture for housing, for stronghold and keeps, obviously we want to give you endless amount of options and cool things to find in the world and buy and construct that allows you to build and design a unique looking house and real awesome things. It's really cool to see that. So I have a little picture of our upcoming patch with some of those. And this is our stuff, guys. So as you can see, there are going to be a lot for you guys to find, build, buy, and some rare, some collectibles to place in your house and make your house, stronghold, keep unique looking. So here you can see a little sneak peek of some of the upcoming content we have for that. So that's gonna be cool. Need a guild roundtable. I fully agree. I said that the thing is that we have a very smart grid system. To one of the secrets of having a incredible good performance, because that is key, as you know. If we're gonna see huge cities, performance needs to be king, and that is why we're using a very clever high detail grid system. And that makes a round table a little bit tricky because you can't play some things as smooth around it. But I think there's room for it. So a big square table for sure, long table. But I do want to try a round table to see if it fits the grid in a decent way. Because I agree, imagine the knight round table in your keep floor. That would be cool. And a cool chandelier next to that, and all your boss trophies head next to you on the wall. Imagine all the troll types, all the bosses, and you can collect them all. That's gonna be cool. So yeah, a lot of those things gonna be really cool to collect and gather for your house and kingdom. Your enemy heads on the tabletop. Indeed, that too. We need names on the heads. We need to bring that back, obviously, so you can see your enemy head on one of those pikes to eliminate your enemies even more. That also comes. It's a requirement for the bounty system. So yeah. All right, guys. Yes, player names will get back on the houses again. Let's see, guys. Do you have a name for me? So who do we pass the raid to last time? I think it was Stardiki, right? So who do we pass it to this time? We have John Amel streaming, Pizza Guy, Stardaki, Fiberfly. I think he's yeah, Portuguese. So we may have some language barriers. I don't know. Hessler that just trash talked me. I don't know about that. Ogmir, Lord Holyman, PewDiePie. No, he's not streaming. He's not streaming. Pizza Guy. Jonah. Ice Prime. He's not streaming, right? No. Ice Prime. He's not streaming at the moment. Okay, so I guess start doing a whole roundabout. So Jonah Vale, Pizza Guy, or Ogmir. I'm not sure if I know who Ogmir is. Do we have any cool guy we wanna pass it on to for today? I mean, Hessler been quite the naughty boy and quite rude and insulting, so I try to ignore when someone is just acting childish and immature and insulting. You know, obviously I'm not banning someone for hating me, but just being rude and insulting is not very pleasant and nice, right? If he grow up and doesn't become rude anymore, I would happily support him, but it's hard to support someone that doesn't support you back, right? Shall we throw it to Pizza Guy? It was quite a while ago, I think. I did Sturdirky last run, so we can do a little rotation. Shall we do Pizza Guy? High energized, cool guy. Do it. Yeah, Pizza Guy is cool. I've seen him quite a lot. He's a cool guy. Shall we do it then, guys? And I'm gonna grab some night snack before it gets too late. Let's do it. Guys, thank you so much again for participating. I really appreciate that you tune in on these streams, having discussions, giving feedback and all that is very, very valuable. And we always appreciate any feedback, criticism, whatever it may be, good and bad. Obviously, we just ask for it to be in a civil, adult way, and we have no problems to discuss anything. We are always very open and transparent with everything we're doing, and we try our best in explaining why we're doing some things, because we also know that seems dumb. Why the hell are you doing this? Haven't you learned anything? When we hear that, we understand that, we fully see your point, but please understand also that we have very often very good reasons for those crazy things we may be doing at some times. So bear with us, and yeah, we will get there. We're getting very close to the tasty content finally. Couldn't happen soon enough. So yeah, I'm very excited for reaching that step, and we're getting very close to that. All right. Thank you so much for hanging with me today. It's always a pleasure, and we really appreciate your support. And I hope that you will continue joining in our weekly streams as long as you want to do it and find it enjoyable. We will continue doing it. And I wish you a good night. And I will do a little braid to our little friend Pizza Guy. It's a fun guy. Where are the barber chairs? They will be there. This is just a big part of what we're adding. There's gonna be more. And one of the cool thing is when we get to the trophies, so you can actually go out and hunt the trophies and put it on your walls. It's gonna be cool. You can have a trophy room in your house eventually. All right. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you hopefully on the next stream. And I will do my best as always to try to find something interesting to show you guys, and yeah, make it worth joining. Have a good night and see you soon. Thank you, guys. All right, here we go. Bye-bye. Thank you. God kväll. Ha en bra kväll. Bye-bye.